Welcome everyone, it is John, and I am back with another director's cut. And this one we're going to go way back, and actually it's a 3-for-1. These are very short videos, so I've compressed 3 abandoned house videos and put them into one, about 15, almost 16-minute video. And our first one, and I'll go ahead and say, if you have not seen any of these videos, I will link all them in the description down below. So please go check them out. These are really awesome videos. I mean, they're short, but they are sweet. And this first one is one of the more terrifying places I've ever been for a few reasons. One, the floors were so bad in this house. And I'm certain there's one point I looked through, I don't know if I put it on camera or not, but there's a deep cellar. And God knows what was down there. But anyways, this house is very unique because, as you'll see here in a moment, it's a really old cabin. And I mean old. I believe it was probably built in the 1700s. And then I believe sometime in the 1800s, the rest of this house was built around it. Because if you look at where we're at now, you see Ray there. My friend Vinny's here. And you just see this is a very, very old house. Then when you see the house that's in the center of it, that it was built around, you really see that how old this house was. But this was one of the controversial videos. Upstairs, I don't go up there because the floors are so weak. The house is leaning sideways, literally. And I let Ray and Vinny go upstairs because, they're smaller guys. And there was a dresser with just like smeared blood all over it. It was very, very eerie and not a pleasant sight. But this house literally has everything left behind. I mean, it's like people just walked out and left it. Some people has spray painted graffiti in here, but not very many people's been inside this house since it went abandoned. And the reason why, we don't know. It could have been anything. Normally when a house looks like this, there was a death and maybe family members came and got the personal belongings that were important and just left the rest. Now, this is the original house here, the log cabin that's in the center. Now, I've seen a lot of cabins. I've been to a lot of old structures. This is easily a 1700s cabin. It could have been 1800s too, but I am fairly confident in my belief that it was built somewhere in the mid to late 1700s. But a unique house. You don't see very many that takes a really old house and then builds an old house around it, This is when we were thinking about going upstairs. I said, I'm not, when Vinny was walking there, the whole floor was just sagging down. So Vinny is filming this for me. And this is the upstairs of the old cabin. And, I mean, what I see here, and there's a lot of forensic people apparently out there in the world, people who believe they're forensic experts and say this is not blood. I've seen dried blood. That looks like dried, oxidized blood. Unfortunately, I'll probably never be able to go back here again. If I could, I would get some luminol or get some kind of testing kit to see if it was blood. And that's something I probably should do because there's a lot of debates when I'm at places. Is that blood? Is that not blood? And then everyone on the chat becomes an expert, which I don't have a problem with. I love engagement. I love people's opinions. So, I mean, please share them. If you think it's blood, if you think it's not blood, please let me know what you think. And look how low. I mean, Vinny, I think he's at the tallest 6 foot, but I think he's about 5'10", maybe 5'11", and you see his head's almost touching the ceiling there. But this is the end of our first video. And the cool thing about the first one, this was the first kind of filming road trip I ever took. Me and Ray, I took him with me. We went on a road trip, basically circled the whole state of Kentucky, come back through Nashville. We went to Dinosaur World, all kinds of cool stuff. But as we get ready to segue into this next house, it's one of my favorites. Now, this house that we're about to see right here, I grew up exploring this place. It's actually owned by a friend of mine. And since then, someone had set fire to it, and this house is now gone, unfortunately. But as you'll see as we explore it, it was not in, probably wasn't going to last a whole lot longer anyways. It was not in very good shape. But this was a fun day. This was myself, Jacob Carpetbagger, and my good friend Tennessee Matt. We're out exploring one day, and so I go check this place out. And you'll see the house is not in very good shape, but it's just such a cool old house. Now, I know it was built roughly in the mid 1800s. It is definitely built in the 1800s. Everything is original that you see while we're in here. You see the floors are not in good shape. Walls are missing, ceilings collapsing. Definitely not a safe place to be in. But I was really glad I got to document it on video with two really good friends of mine. But yeah, another one that'll never be seen again. Of course, you'll see Jacob. Jacob's a really good friend of mine. Love him to death, but sometimes he puts himself in some scary situations, as you'll see that he'll do here in a minute. And that cooler looked like it was full of poop. I don't know what was in there. I imagine somebody probably had worms in it and just had it full of dirt. Of course, it turns into poop after so long. But, Jacob goes upstairs. And, when I was young, people used to go upstairs. This was like a rite of passage. Okay, see the floor up there? He actually walks up there. And I was yelling for him, like, Jacob, get down. But this was one of them places it was a rite of passage. Everyone knew it was haunted. People would always go there and try to do it at night. People would get scared and run off if something would happen. But things would happen there, and that's the thing. It was definitely, of course, I'm not doing a paranormal investigation here during this video. There comes Jacob back down the stairs. Yeah, Jacob's had me in panic mode a few times doing some of the things he does. But here's me trying to figure out how to get a nice creative shot. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm a little better now. I can think I'm a little better anyways than I was back then. I love that door. The old window cutouts there for that door was really cool. And this is pretty much it. I mean, I guess we look around a little bit more. One thing I hated back then is I used the same camera actually, but you see the little ring come in and out. The lens in the camera has got a built-in gimbal. And when you move it around, the inside lens is adjusting for good stability. But when I had the wide angle lens screwed onto it, it kept showing the rim of the wide angle lens. And I had to quit using it on that camera. I don't know why it even came with it. But here we are at our final video of this director's cut. Now this, I have to say, was probably the scaredest I had ever been inside of a house. Not because it was haunted or creepy. This house had really soft floors. And I commented about it throughout the whole video. And I finally get to a point, and you'll see. And I got a lot of hate on this video because of the way I titled it. I titled it Abandoned House, Thought I Found a Body in the Basement. And when you see, I'll never forget this, I turned that on and water came out. And back then, I used to watch a lot of Adam the Woo channel videos. on his channel, and he would always turn the faucet, see if any water come on. And when I did that, I remember saying, Adam the Woo would be proud, But anyways, back to this house. You'll see. We'll get there. It looks like someone's feet. I think it's just a pair of boots. I hope it's a pair of boots just floating in there. But it looks like it's definitely boots, but I don't know if there's a human body in it or not. But it's like somebody's feet are just floating up. And it's like, it's deep water. The basement's flooded. Okay. And I actually have a panic attack in this video. You don't see that part, but I freak out. I had to leave the inside of the house, and I couldn't handle it. It was just too scary for me. I had this phobia, this fear of like falling into dark water. It doesn't really go well with what I do. Here before I even walk in, I'm asking Ray, how's the floors? And, Ray is a good friend of mine. But his level of fear and my level of fear of like unstableness is on different planes. He's a smaller guy. He doesn't have to worry about falling through the floor as much as I do. I weigh, I'm heavy. And now back then I was pushing 500 pounds. So I'm real heavy. So it's extra scary to be in places like this. But as you see, we'll look around and explore. It's a cool house. It's an old house. I'd say probably 40s, 50s maybe. Probably more like 50s. Maybe even 60s it was built. Somebody spray painted Crips on the wall there. And at the time I was like, what is Crips? And then somebody told me. But it was an interesting place. The link to this video is down below, and in that video, there's a link to Ray's video he did here. If you want to see the upstairs, Ray going upstairs and explored that. He said there's a bunch of bullet casings laying around up there, so probably pretty cool to see. Now through here, I'm really nervous because the floor is kind of crunchy. I feel like the wood is soft under my feet. Now it's carpet, but you can hear like and feel like the wood sagging out of being unstable. But I'm keeping it in the back of my head right now. But it's when I look downstairs here in a moment. First, excuse me, I'll look into the kitchen. But you'll see. We'll get there. There's still some cool relics here, and that old carpet is it's funny. It's that old like brown 70s. It's not shag, but it's definitely like not a pleasant carpet. I mean, it had its time. But see, the kitchen floor is gone. And you can't tell there, but when I look to the right here, down the stairs, it's flooded. It's deep, and you see my reaction there. See the feet, the boots there to the right, top right corner downstairs? That is insane. Look at those. Look, it looks like somebody's legs. Excuse me. I got choked. But anyways, yeah. So I'm realizing there's standing black water underneath me. And I'm still looking around here. I'm still overcoming it. It's when I start to go upstairs that like it really registers with me, what's going on underneath this house. There's a full basement completely flooded. Probably 5 to 7 foot of water. Granted, it wouldn't be over my head. No. See, here's where I'm like, the steps are real soft. They don't feel too stable. There's no handrail. And it cuts, and I'm outside. And that's the last you see of this house. So yeah, I'm freaking out here. I'm not saying anything, but I am freaking out. And like, I'm trying to like get the nerve to keep going upstairs. And I can't do it. Like, I stick the camera up here. I kind of look around, and I'm like, I just got to get out of here. I can't do this. This is way too much for me. And I don't chicken out too much, but when I feel like I'm in there, see, because I'm like, I just can't do it. But we're nearing the end. These are 3 really fun videos. It was really cool to look back and reminisce on those times. This was real early on in my YouTube endeavor, and I had a lot of fun back in those days. But there's a lot of fun to be had. I'll be getting with Ray soon. Me and Ray's going to do some stuff together. Same with other people you've seen here, other than maybe Vinny. I've kind of lost contact with him, not in a bad way. Just, I think he's kind of moved on from YouTube, which is fine. He's a good kid, and I hope the best for him. But definitely get with these other guys in the future and make some awesome content. But guys, thank you for being here. It's been fun. I'll see you next Saturday for another Director's Cut. Y'all have yourselves a good one.